Hi, welcome to Hot Seats. I have the lovely Maren Hogan from recruitingblogs.com. I'm going to pass you over to Maren, who can tell us more about that. So, Maren, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about everything you do and how you're connected to recruitment.
Okay, well, my name is Maren Hogan. I work with recruitingblogs.com. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer there. So basically what I do is strategic partnership with our advertisers, with our partners, with events like TRU London. We're a 22,000 member community. We have an online footprint of about 110,000 recruiters and HR professionals. We own sites that you might have heard of, like punkrocHR.com and cruitertalk.com. I do all the graphics, all the design, all the copy, all the emailing, any kind of member engagement. When we partner with large RPOs and recruitment firms, I handle that as well. So
I mean, 23,000 members, you said, that's a huge community. How do you take care of all of those guys?
Well, in any community, I think any community manager is going to tell you that there's an active core and then sort of a passive audience that listens, lurks. Maybe they comment sometimes, but not often. And the nice thing about it, from my perspective, is it's cyclical. You have people that are very active at certain points, and then other people come and take their place. Maybe some people sort of get a foothold for blogging on our site, and then they go off and start their own blogs or get hooked into Twitter, understand more about LinkedIn.
Yeah. So it's recruiting blogs, I mean, in terms of geographical spread, I mean, what is the kind of demographic of the users on the site?
Well, as I mentioned, there's about 23,000 members. So how that's broken up is we have about 47% corporate recruiters and 18% of the vendor community, and then the remainder is third party. So most people think that we're split more heavily towards third party, but it's actually a lot of corporate HR and recruiters that head in there. And we have demographics on industry and stuff, but I don't have those off the top of my head.
And what about geography? Is it majority the users from the US, or what about the rest of the world?
Well, interestingly enough, I don't know if I can use this venue to announce this, but yes, it's mostly North America, but we have noticed a tremendous amount, an uptick in the blogs, the discussions, the networking going on with UK recruiters and HR pros. So we're actually opening a UK recruiting blogs.
Oh, fantastic. So what will the URL be?
It'll be uk.recruitingblogs.com. It'll be a group on recruitingblogs.com, and we've already spoken to 10 writers who are interested, and they're going to write for us, and we're partnering with JobSite Advisor, so that's exciting.
And when does it go live, and when can people see this?
I know it's going to go live next week. I mean, you can technically go and see it right now. The nice thing is if you're already a member of Recruiting Blogs, you can just click to join the group. You don't have to join a whole nother network and community, and there's still that interplay between all the countries involved.
So, and what pre-Recruiting Blogs days, what were you doing?
Well, most of my work has been in marketing. I used to, formerly I was the CMO for an investment firm. Before that, I was a marketing director at an investment firm. And then I did a lot of PR and social media consulting for nonprofits and smaller businesses.
Wow, so how did you get into, getting into this whole community space and recruiting blogs?
Well, it's not so much the community space. It was actually my husband and my father-in-law started a recruiting firm. And I was doing marketing and sales. I got onto Recruiting Blogs, became a very active member, immediately saw the value of having that kind of level playing field so you could ask questions or become an expert or build your brand. Everyone uses it for different things. And I started doing project work for Jason. He was one of my first clients. And
Jason is the guy, by the way, just so the viewers know, Jason's the guy that is the brainchild behind Recruiting Blogs? Yeah.
CEO and creator, very smart guy. He used to own recruiting.com, sold that to Jobster, then started Recruiting Blogs. Long time, old school, knows his stuff recruiter.
Yeah. So let's talk about, in your experience in recruitment so far, what's been your best experience?
In recruitment proper or in the community?
Either.
So in recruitment proper, I really love the candidates. And it was interesting because I became a recruiter right before everything went off a cliff, so to say. So meeting with the candidates and seeing their joy when a recruiter actually cares or calls back or gives them feedback, that was really great. In terms of recruiting blogs, it never fails to astonish me when people say, I come to your site every single day, your site touches me, I started my blog because of your site. That's the best thing for us.
Yeah, that sounds like pretty special. And what about the flip side of that question? Any horror stories or really bad experiences in recruitment so far, or within the community?
So my worst experience as a recruiter was when I went to place my uncle, who was actually, he had the skill set, my uncle, and they already had him. Like some other recruiter already had him. And I was like, it's my uncle. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's not just candidate ownership, that's blood.
Could I be a worse recruiter than to have not been able to place my own family? So that was the worst there.
That is quite funny.
Yeah, I know.
And what about in the community? Any horrors thus far?
Yes. We recently struggled, and it was a really difficult decision with having to ban a member for just serial abuse of other members. And that's always hard because you want to believe in freedom of speech. Again, that level playing field, everyone gets their say. But when somebody starts abusing other members, that's always hard. And that's kind of been the worst thing to have to do.
Yeah, and what is the borderline of when it becomes abuse?
We actually posted questions and sort of guidelines. And the truth of the matter is, it's our community. That's what we came up with. It's our community, and there are a lot of people that have contributed. We can ban you if we want to, but these will for sure get you banned, and that will be like spamming, name-calling, complete profanity, things like that. We just can't allow that to go on in such a large group.
Yeah, of course, and I think it lowers the tone completely of the community, so it's good idea. What is the best recruitment advice that you've ever received, Maren?
Well, almost all of it came from Jason Davis, but I think the best thing I ever heard was, we don't find jobs for people, we find people for jobs. And knowing that, yes, there is such a thing as candidate coaching, candidate care, trying to help out a friend, what have you, but when it comes down to it, a recruiter's true job is to find a person for an open job order. And if you're not doing that, you've usually lost your way.
Yeah. And what about, that's quite nice actually, and what about what's your best sort of recruitment phrase, or maybe not recruitment, just a phrase that maybe you live by or make your decisions by?
Oh. All right, well, the recruitment one is pick up the phone.
Yeah.
And a phrase that I live by, just listen to your mom. She's usually right. You know, when it's true, when it comes to social media, like if you're just a social person and you mind your manners and you're not a jerk, you're probably going to be fairly successful.
Yeah, fairly popular.
Right, exactly.
And sum up the recruitment industry today in 3 words.
Moving on up.
Ooh.
There's no place else for it to go.
I like it. And what about, Maren, advice to newcomers coming into the industry?
My advice to any newcomers would be to get trained by somebody who's very hard on you. Because if you have somebody that coddles you or says, oh, let's try out social media first, like really get into the basics of recruiting, understand how that works, then you can dabble in social media, blogging, networking, computer job boards, all that stuff, but know what you're doing first.
Yeah. And what about advice to an experienced recruiter who's done it for many years?
Well, I would have very little to offer an experienced recruiter other than what I know in my marketing career, which would be know how to market yourself. You already do. You know how to market your candidates, so learn how to apply that to yourself, and don't be so afraid to get out there. If you've been successful as a recruiter, social media and social networking will only amplify that fact.
Yeah, nice. So now we want to get to know you a little bit better, so we're going to park the recruitment questions to the side, and we're just going to talk to you about general stuff. So let's start with your favorite color.
Red.
Thank you. That's, again, red for Redmos, so we quite like the guys that like red. Okay, favorite movie?
Steel Magnolias.
What are you listening to on your iPod?
My favorite current artist is Joshua Radin.
Okay, and what are you reading at the moment?
I am reading the shipping news at the moment.
As in what, Lloyd's List? Or what is that, a book?
It's just called, the shipping news. They made a movie out of it, but I'm reading the book right now. Set in part of Canada.
How does Maren Hogan relax? Where does she go on holiday?
I don't ever get to go on holiday because I'm always going to conferences, so my husband's like, what do you need another vacation for?
And so let's say you get 2 weeks and you can go on holiday, where are you going to go?
Somewhere hot and cheap, like Mexico.
Okay. If you were president or prime minister for the day, what would you do?
I cannot answer that question. I'd probably make an impassioned speech and order whatever sandwich I wanted at 3 a.m.
And why not? And what about, if you had a superpower for the day, what would it be?
Flying, for sure.
That's been quite popular, you know. Sum yourself up in 3 words.
Passionate, intelligent, enthusiastic.
Very nice. And lastly, tell us about your biggest achievement to date, and that can be work or personal.
My biggest achievement today has been my 3 boys. I have 3 children, 10, 8, and 3.5, and they're amazing, smart, brilliant, perfect, and I couldn't have done it better if I was me. So,
well, boys, if you're watching, your mummy's very good at interviews. Maren, thank you for sitting on the hot seat. You've been very good. It's very nice to have somebody here from a community perspective, you know, talking to us. And of course, you know, one of the largest communities online at the moment, recruiting blogs. How do people follow you or find out more or, you know, join some of the networks that you manage?
Okay, well, you just go to recruitingblogs.com. Again, the UK page is uk.recruitingblogs.com. On Twitter, I'm at Maren Hogan. You can also follow us at recruitingblogs, and Jason is at Slouch. And I also have a blog called Marinated, but it's not very active anymore.
You're a busy, busy lady. We can excuse you. Thank you for sitting on the hot seat.
Thanks,
Maren. Thank you.